Welcome to the People's Podcast, the only podcast where we keep it all the way real. This is going to be a new starting point for us. Really have to think about what we want to be and who do we want to be moving forward. To reinvent yourself during this economy, it's going to take some innovation. Maybe some new hustles, some new moves. So, what do y'all gentlemen think about? The economy starting to open, and what's the new moves, fellas?
Want to set it off, Dodge?
You go ahead. Take the floor for that.
I slowly we seeing stuff. I guess this is phase one. I mean, I feel like they're not really telling us what the full phases are, but I guess this is phase one. I think a couple of like stores, restaurants, those type of things are open. I still feel like it's not quite as busy. You're not seeing the same amount of people in and out of restaurants, in and out of stores. So I think it's still going to take time for people to get used to being outside. It's helping that it's a little hotter outside. The fact that it's summertime helps, because if this was winter, I think it would be even more difficult to get people even into this couple of stores that are open. But I think people are really having a hard time maybe trying to readjust to being back outside again and getting used to that. Some people, there's like two versions of people. There's two versions of people. Either you ready to get outside and you don't care about what's going on, Corona, you don't care about it, or you're very timid about going outside and you really don't want to go outside at all.
I think that's the case more or less. People are finding out, the severity of this virus, because there's not a lot of people out, to be honest, I've seen, and it's been nice out. So that could tell you where the fluctuate, where the money this summer is going to be spent or not. It might be a slow summer, because just the fact of we don't know if phase one is safe to go outside or not yet. Nobody says anything.
True. It's like test time right now to like see what's. Yeah. We're like trying to figure out just the people's. We're checking the people's temperature right now. I feel like you got to check who's outside in a mask, who's not, who's.
Also, I think we gotta see like what the big companies is gonna happen. Especially when it's season where people are starting to, venture out more. Maybe the tourists will come back to New York. Who knows?
Another industry, yeah.
Yeah, because tourism is big, especially like I said, I work in Midtown. That's like Midtown is all almost based off circulating dollars and tourism.
So maybe, as people surely come back to the city, maybe their family will come with them, or maybe they'll come to visit them over the summer. You never know. It could work out strange like that.
I was interested in what Biggs was saying, because like the curbside is different. Let's just say I will go to Starbucks now. I'll just get one iced coffee. When you walk inside, you may get like a multi-grain bagel. You may get add-ons. Add-ons really make companies. Like you may grab almonds.
I thought maybe we would still have to wait to see some of the bigger companies to see how their revenue is going to start to come back to life.
Like what kind? Give me an example of a big company that you mean.
Maybe traveling companies or bus, trains and buses and planes.
Okay.
Things of that.
So like Delta or Spirit or airlines and stuff like that, or even like hotels. MTA, right? MTA. Well, remember MTA was hiring people during the pandemic at the height. I don't know if they still are to clean. Remember, they was hiring. So they opened up a budget for that to have people come in. I don't remember the rate that it was. It might have been $15. You come in for like I don't even think it was 40 hours. It was like maybe like 25 hours a week, and you clean the train. But it was a way to get people a job and a hustle. But you're right. We got to see how comfortable. First, we got to see how comfortable people are with being outside. That's number one. People are figuring out, how do I be outside and be okay with being outside? Some people, I think you could take a day. In like an hour, you could be like, okay, I'm good with being outside. Some people it's going to take like weeks. And then some people, the year is a wrap. They're just, I'm not coming outside for the.
We still don't know if we're good. we still really don't know if we're good with the testing going on and who has it, and like the testing, we didn't even do it correctly. I feel like
That's true. Not in a mass level like everybody else did. There's plenty of people that still not been tested that don't know if they asymptomatic.
That's why that's why wearing a mask when you're in a closed area should be mandatory, like I said in the earlier episodes. But what do you think? What do you think we could? What other things we could implement in those companies we were just talking about, like the planes? And I know like they had a certain kind of light that supposed to take the coronavirus out of the. Did you hear something about that? It's like a light that is supposed to be like state of the art that gets rid of the coronavirus when it like,
I did hear like some ultraviolet, it's like an ultraviolet light,
yeah,
something like that.
I only seen a minimal about it, but I thought that was interesting.
I think we're far away from that on a big mass level. But do you think?
Yeah.
To go back to what Jerry's saying, like with the add-ons, how you go in Starbucks and if you just go to takeout, you just get what you want. Whereas if you're online, you're looking around, you buy a cup, you buy a bagel, you buy that. Do you think? How long do you think? And do you think masks will be an add-on for companies? Do you think that'll be a continuous thing? Will that stop after this year? Do you think is that like T-shirts? Is masks like T-shirts where you sell a couple for the summer and then that's it? Or do you think that'll be more of a business itself? The mask.
I think it could turn into.
I think for the next couple of years, yeah, because all companies have to wear a mask.
Right.
Indoor, you have to wear a mask. The workers,
right.
the customers.
It's mandated. Mandated.
I just got off the phone with a real estate office, and they're gonna take your temperature before you can walk in the office. You have to put a mask on.
Wow.
Booties.
Wow.
The cubicles are closed. Like.
Wow. And what, you got to stay apart from people in the office?
Yeah, exactly. And if you show a buyer house, they have to sign like a COVID-19 form now.
Wow. What like a liability waiver type thing?
Yes, exactly.
Well, that's a whole new biz too. That whole waivers that you got to sign out to do rent, the same thing you could do before, you can't do that anymore. And that might change business as well. Imagine if you had to do that every time you get on a plane. I got to go through all of that to get on a plane to travel to Florida. I got to take my temperature when I get on, wear booties, wear a mask, come off, take my temperature. That would affect people flying, and that would affect industry.
We have every time we go to office, you have to fill out a questionnaire that keep on their records, like
right.
5 questions, like have you had a fever? Have you?
I guess you could just say that's the price of doing business in the 2020 climate.
I mean, yeah, that is
wearing a mask, wearing a budget for trying to get over the hump of the virus. That's just money added on.
It's definitely money.
Business. Yeah.
Yeah, but how does like money. Starbucks, where they were adding add-ons was like, maybe a egg roll, like egg wrap or something, or like potato chips. Like, how do you add that on your curbside? People come get 1 cup of coffee and leave. So all that revenue is going out the window.
Right. No, that's true.
They have the bakeries stuff and all that. The baked
You're right.
And things like that. Those are things you would have.
Yeah, that's all that stuff you're talking about it even translates to a bigger company like Walmart. You go to Walmart, you fill your cart up, and then you get on the line and they got that stuff right there that's on the side. Right. You buy all that. They're making a killing really off that. That's really where the money comes from, not what you bought. It's like you buy a lighter, you buy a phone charger, while you're waiting online, so if you can't do that, you're right. You're not making the same amount of revenue. It's going down because people's revenue. Right. Because people are even thinking different. I think people are even buying more essential. I don't need all the extra stuff now. Just give me what I need. I just want exactly what I need. So I go to Starbucks, get my coffee. I go to Walmart, Target. I get my whatever, cleaning products. I'm not browsing through Target. I'm just going right to what I need and coming right back out. So that ultimately has to have some effect on how you make money in a business. It has to, long term. We haven't
And
even seen
Doc
yet.
said, with it being nice out, you see less people going out. There's less customers going through the store.
Right,
Everything's like on the
Right.
downhill right
right. There's not as many people outside. I mean, there's people, but
Every
it's
day.
definitely not the same.
now. That question
Yeah, I'm
again.
gonna ask that question again. Do you think that this time, because you mentioned about how every day feels the same, which I agree with you, but do you think if you were someone who was working from home already, do you think that they felt that way too, or do you think that now because you see how you have to dictate your time now, you don't have somebody telling you got to be here, you got to be there. You got to tell yourself, I got to work out at this time, got to go for a run, I got to go grocery shopping, and do you think that will? How do you think that'll affect how people run business after that? Like, how do people run business now they know that they have an option to own their own time?
That's a good one. Well, I feel like they're gonna, use their time more wisely now that, when you get to see how you could work from home and still be, in business. So I guess
Right.
it depends on the person. Really depends on what type of person you are. It could be
That's
a good
true.
thing for your business or a bad thing,
Depending on what you do, right? Depending on what business you're in.
depending on what you do, and like I said, how you use the time in your day. But a lot of a lot of people are having a hard time, with their kids having to be home. So like working from home is not really ideal, I think, for most people. Not for everybody, but so
Dude, that's
how
true.
How you gonna balance like homeschooling? It could be 6-7 hours a day, and then work 8 hours a day.
Right.
You gotta find new balance. Gotta be new efficiency.
Right.
Everybody gotta readjust the schedule, like you were saying. New routines, kind of.
You might even have
switch
to.
up the routine.
You might have to. Eventually, people might have to get off the. Usually it's like you wake up at 7, and then you go to bed like 11 average. That might even have to change. You might have to wake up at like 4 in the morning now, and like go to bed. It might end up over time, but that might even end up changing. Like, because if you could work from home, you can change all that time. You could change how business is done. You don't have to have we could get stuff done overnight depending on how you're doing. 3 in the morning, 4. I could send emails at 3 or 4.
If you're a nighttime person,
Right.
You up till 6 when to work and then go to sleep.
Exactly. So you could go to bed at 6 p.m. if you want to. Wake up at 1 in the morning, and you had a whole night's sleep. Now I could work when it could actually be more efficient. Now I could work when everybody else, this group is sleeping. Now I could work, and then vice versa when they go to bed.
Yeah,
so it can actually be beneficial to big business. You can almost have people working nonstop. Like it could be nonstop for the same corporation. You got your night shift and your day shift. Right.
It's not just 9 to 5 no more.
It's not just 9 to 5. That's dead. 9 to 5 is dead.
I had a question to propose. Since we're on the family environment topic, do you feel when the kids go back to school, are they gonna see a decline in kids, like maybe getting homeschooled now that more people are taking advantage of working from home? Or do you feel it'll be the same as before the pandemic?
That's a good question. That's a good question. I think this summer all the way till September will determine that. Like what is outside looking like? How comfortable are parents having their kids? Some parents, like right now, there's probably some parents that wouldn't even want their kids to go back because they're just worried about their kids being around that many people. So right now they feel that way. But if this took 3 months and then we have another 3 months before school starts, I think that's going to dictate sort of how the schooling things go. Because some people are going to have to go back to work. So they need their kids to go back to school. They need their kids to be in school during that time. But if you figure out a way to stay home, you don't need to.
Yeah. They might figure out a way for the parents and the kids to stay home with schooling, depending on how old they are,
Maybe.
You never know. They
Maybe.
might do something
That
drastic
might be
like
true.
that.
Well, they're doing that already. I think kids are doing Google like share to do like classroom time now. So you get the same as Zoom kind of, and you could do
Yeah.
that. So that's an option. I don't know if it's ideal, but I think the next couple months will determine if it is or not.
But then that works both ways. Because what about childcare? Some people,
Right.
the kids go to school so they can go to work. The
Right.
kids aren't going to school. How are they going to work? Who's watching the kids while they're at work?
Right. So how does that change? Does that become more like independent? Each family has a child care person now. You know, you have someone that comes and watches the child at your home. There might be more in-care services now that
That's another
you know
level. If people have jobs, they can come in. That's another way.
right. You know what I'm saying? Right. That's a whole nother way. If y'all got to go back to work, I'm not at work, but I can't also be at a daycare. Now my daycare could be one-on-one. I'm just with your kids, and that's how I do it now. Maybe they'll find a way to certify, because I think you got to get certified to be home daycare. But maybe there'll be a way to individual, because there's a program that now, like, if you have a disabled parent or family member, you could be the worker for them and get paid to take care of them. So maybe they can make something like that. So maybe a relative could get paid to watch your kids. So you're still getting money, even watching your relative, your little nephew, your cousin or whatever. So it's that might be a whole brand new
it's
industry.
another stream of revenue an individual can get for themselves. It's another hustle.
Right.
Could be going to house school, childcare at the home, even homeschool, school, things like that.
And then if it goes to that, I mean, I don't really see. We're definitely not going to go back to the whatever the norm is if that happens. We're getting so individualized, one-on-one, come to your house services that, I mean, they're so convenient. Why would you ever want to go and be inconvenienced again? You know, why would I even deal with that? Unless I really, really, really need to get out the house. But if that happens, that's like once in the blue. That's not all the time anymore. It's like twice a month you plan out for the kids to go outside. That's it.
So yeah, I know, Jay, you had mentioned about educating yourself about finances.
Yes.
You said you could do so yourself. You like to do the education on your own, you know, like So like what are different like sites that you use? I know YouTube to look up investment and motivational successful speakers and things of that nature. Can you suggest any other maybe books or stuff that you like to get yourself involved in besides talking amongst the people's economy?
I mean, there's definitely books. I definitely think books are good. I like books because you can like go back to it and I can read it at my own pace and like highlight things and see different things. So books are still popular, and they've actually become more popular during this pandemic. More people are buying books now than they were before.
Yeah.
So books are the way, and a lot of it is algorithms. You could educate yourself off algorithms, meaning if I look up something on IG, eventually more stuff of that is going to come up. So you could get different voices now of, you know, maybe I don't like what I'm hearing from this person, so something else will come up. And I'll click on that and listen to that, and then that'll lead me to something else. And I also like reading comments too when I watch the videos, YouTube videos. I learned a lot, honestly, from the comments.
Yeah.
I read the comments of people that's in there. Sometimes they'll reference a book, and I'm like, oh, okay, I didn't even know nothing about that. So I try to hit all parts of the brain: books, online, audio, podcasts. It's all relevant right now.
Yeah, I just wanted to add on what Big said. There are also some apps you can download on your phone, like CNBC app, Bloomberg TV app. You can go into Google, you can type in Motley Fool and read their investment strategies and their economic news and things like that. Keep yourself afloat on what's going on day to day in the economy.
Right. Definitely. Apps are good too. That's definitely good. But I think you should use them all and always like cross-reference your stuff. Like, don't just go where you think is going to make your point. You know, try to find stuff that goes against your point, and then that's sort of where the knowledge is, where those two things meet.
You can run
Thanks,
to
man. Yeah.
at the People's Economy on Instagram. At the People's Economy on Instagram too. You have some knowledgeable stuff on there, updated about the economy and what's going on.
That's really the best place to look if you really want to find out the knowledge. Go to that People's Economy. That's definitely where it's at. But it's definitely more about educating yourself now. You have to be educated more in order to survive. I think to be substantial anyway, because a lot of jobs I think are just gonna not be around
And
in a couple of
I
years.
think it's something you got to find out for yourself, because I don't think a lot of people want to give away their secret. Unless you're fortunate enough to come across somebody that could enlighten you. But it's definitely, like you said, something you have to do for yourself.
Well, you're 100% right. But think about it too. It's quicker. Like if you go to college, let's say you go to college, your whole 4 years of college, you take so many classes, but you might have like 2 professors that you really like, I like their teaching style. And then the rest were like, whatever. Like I didn't really learn much from that. Whereas now I could go to YouTube and listen to this guy. If I don't like this guy, immediately it's almost like finding a new teacher immediately. I can go to this guy who tells me, oh, okay, I learned better from him just because of the way he teaches it. Because a lot of the information I learn about finances, it's all the basic same stuff. Is how you present it and how you take it in. All the numbers and numbers, like 1 + 1 = 2. But who do you want to hear telling you 1 + 1 = 2? That's
It's just a
what it's
tool,
really about.
right?
Just a tool.
It's just a tool for the user, who's depending on how he's gonna use that to his advantage.
Right. And you got to use it to your advantage. Don't get taken advantage of.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. You go to YouTube, type in Jim Cramer. He wraps up a lot of things real quick in a short amount of time. We can tell you real quick on what's going on.
Right. Jim Cramer is a good one.
Cramer.
Because that's like a crash course. He does like a crash course real.
Yeah, crash course
yeah.
Every day.
That's a good one. That's a good one to do. That one and it's pretty easy to understand. It's like you can get what he's saying. He's not really over your head. Because some people talk over your head, but he doesn't. But if it's not Jim Cramer for you, still type in Jim Cramer, but other things will come up and maybe one of them will be for you. You know what I'm saying? That's how it works. You got to hold. It's like having a Rolodex right there on your computer. You could get to anybody you want to, and talk to them too. Now, you could direct message anybody now on even Instagram or Twitter or anything. I could literally talk right to them. So there's many ways like we could get the information. Don't pick one lane. It's never one lane. Multiple streams. But that's the new benefit of the stay-home economy. The fact that you have access quicker than you used to. It's not analog no more. It's definitely digital. We're definitely digital world now.
Oh yeah, big time.
Not going back either. There's no way to put that back in the box. We're just stuck here.
We've never had this much information at our fingertips as we do
Ever.
right now.
Right. And you're only going to get more. They're only putting more and more and more things out on social media, although they're trying to like silence that a little bit too, but that'll just create new industry. It won't, even if they try to censor the information playing on social media, it'll turn into something else. You'll just get it from somewhere else. There's always a way. It's going to like spawn different industries, the whole way things are run now.
It's definitely spawning different companies on Instagram. I've seen a lot of
definitely
new and innovative ways of being political nowadays.
Right.
You know,
right.
This is a real new ball game in this state that we're in as a whole. I mean, what do you guys feel about what's going on in Minnesota right now? I want to just touch on that, being that we're for the people.